This is quite possibly our best flip of all so far. All right, we are back working on the Husqvarna RZ4623, and this is going to be the kind of fix it up video, the second part. I need to replace the air filter housing. This is slightly broken, but I got a new one of these with the new clip, and I got a new air filter. But right now I want to get these valve covers cleaned off, removed, and use some sealant to hopefully fix the oil leak. Other than that, the other things I'm going to do to this mower, I'm going to make sure it has a good battery and good connections there. I want to replace that baffle that goes up in there somewhere. I have it sitting down here somewhere. Oh, there's part of the baffle. It's got bent at 90 degrees there. Anyway, so I want to straighten that out. And there's really not a lot more that this thing might need any fixing on. It just needs a good bath probably. The front left tire may have a slow leak. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get it done. Got all the bolts out, and I cheated on these Torxes because I didn't have a Torx that big, and I used a Allen that did just fine. Now I just need to pop these off. Give it a couple of taps. To convey energy without doing as much damage. Alright, I think that did the trick. And I jacked up the engine to try to keep the oil from running out. So, according to my research, the gaskets are somewhat aftermarket and don't effectively fix anything. And the best plan is to use silicone, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna clean this off of here, try to clean the matching surface, and get just enough silicone on there. The trick is I don't want to get too much on there. But yeah, obviously this gasket is not working for some reason. A more permanent fix is to try to switch over to the composite heads, from what I read, which have a O-ring type gasket in them. And I guess those work out pretty well, but I don't want to do that. That's kind of expensive and perhaps unnecessary. So I am going to see if I can get this to work. And all the bolts were tight, so I don't think I could have just tightened it down. In fact, on this thin type of, whatever you call this, you can make leaks by tightening it down because it will warp it. So it looks like this actually is not a true gasket. This is silicone on here, which I think is factory. So perhaps it wasn't put on quite right. There's a little bit towards the inside. Well, that tells me I probably shouldn't be super concerned about getting on the inside. I don't want it to get on the inside, but maybe not to be quite as concerned about it. So I'm gonna take a picture so I know what it looks like before I clean it all off. Okay, well, I'm ready to try to see if I can't put some gasket material on this head here. Well, I guess it's technically a head cover that we're putting on. So I got this all cleaned off pretty good. Just used a rag with some carb cleaner. Honestly, it's not really a bond that we're looking for. It's a seal. So I'm gonna see if I can't get this squeezed on there and do it right. Hopefully I can do it right. It'd be a bummer if I do it wrong. This is still kind of new to me, this whole liquid gasket. And the instructions say to install it and wait an hour before torquing it down. Last time I did that, it didn't seem dry enough before I torqued it down, so I think I'm gonna wait longer and try to let it set up. It's not super warm out here. It's probably, if I can check the temperature, my guess is it's around 60 degrees, 61 degrees. And in an hour, it's gonna be about the same. So we should be fine. I don't know how this is gonna go, but let's try this out and see if we can't make a bad mess here. And you know, if we do, we'll just pull it off and try again. Let's start at the bolt hole. So this is where it's gonna get all squeezed out around the bolt hole. I feel like I need to use less than I think I need to use, but the concern is that you don't want it to come inside and get in your oil. Because if you get little pieces that come off and fall in your oil, you can clog up your oil pump, and that's not really good. So we don't really want that, but at the same time we need enough to make a seal. So it's a little bit of a balance. I don't know. So you can comment below, tell me I'm doing this totally wrong, which I would probably believe you if you told me I was doing this totally wrong. I guess I could watch somebody else's video first, but that takes all the fun out of it. I feel like I got a bead all the way around there. Now, I need to get this thing on without messing everything up. Now we got it pretty well lined up. I am not tightening these tight at all, just running them in. Alright, that's like 0 torque on there. So, let's let it sit a while and then we'll torque it down, and then some other day we'll actually test run it and find out. Because you have to wait again after you torque it down at least 90 minutes, and it's going to be pretty late by then. Okay, so I think it's been about an hour and a half since I put the gasket sealer on there. So I'm gonna actually pull this off and see if the gasket material looks good. And if it's a little bit gooey, I'm gonna know that it did not dry long enough yet. And I may be able to tell before I take it off. So hold on for more exciting details. I feel stuck on there actually. That's interesting. I'm afraid I'm going to damage that gasket if I pull harder. I think I'm just going to torque it down and we'll go from there. The worst case scenario is you get bits of gasket squeezing off on the inside and getting caught in your oil pump and blocking oil flow and thus overheating the engine. Now, what are the odds of that actually happening? I don't know. Because obviously, Kohler uses that in the first place. They use this stuff in the first place. So, there you have it. Got the gasket installed on there, and we won't really know more until we wash this engine off and run it in a while and see what happens. So that's it for today. All right, so it's a long time later, probably weeks, maybe months later. Anyway, springtime's here. I want to get this thing up for sale, and I need to clean off the engine. That's pretty oily under there. Test around a little bit and hopefully it doesn't leak anymore. So what do I have left to do? Clean the engine off, wash the whole mower, change the oil, change the air filter, and air filter cover. That's the plan. Let's get this thing out of the shop and cleaned off. Let's make sure it's warmed up enough and then change the oil. Where's the oil drain on here? Oh, there it is. Oh, nice. It's got this hose right here. Should make it easy. Alright, oil has been changed. I've kind of cleaned off some of the loose stuff. I've let the engine degreaser soak on there for a while, so now it's time for the fun part. Let's wash it. Down. Okay, here's the new air filter cover, new air filter. Here's the old one, very loose. It is slightly broken because that tab is broken off. Some of that oil was making its way up there. Just got this lightly oiled. Oh, there we go. So that may have been an unnecessary part. Yeah, I thought this doesn't clip down here very tight, but it does nothing to hold the air filter in. So I probably could have gotten away with leaving this on there. Just something to know for next time. But that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to drive this to a good spot and get it pictured and listed. Somebody a nice little mower. Not quite the type of mower I want, but it's a nice little mower. Let's get it pictured and listed now. All right, so we have somebody coming to hopefully buy this mower, the Husqvarna RZ4623. So quick recap. I picked up this mower last year for free and I had talked to the guy quite a while before that. He'd asked me if I had a transmission available, which I didn't at the time. Anyway, he ended up saying he just wanted to get rid of it. I could have it for free. And I took it home and I found out that the belts may not be routed correctly on the transmission. So we rerouted the belts on the transmission and it worked a lot better. It got, I think, better tension on both drive pulleys for the transmissions. So both sides worked. Instead of one side working, the other side not working very well. It had a bent baffle here that came in right around there. So it was bent down and rubbing on the ground. I removed that. I was thinking about trying to bend it back and put it in, but I just didn't think it was really worth the effort and trying to get that back in because I don't really know that it makes that much difference on the mower. So we took that off so it's not dragging. And the mower was very oily, and I washed off a lot of it. There's still some oil, but it had a leaky valve cover gasket on this side. So I took it off and applied the black gasket goopy stuff. I don't know what you call it. I forgot. Is it RTV or it seems to be working. I've used it a fair amount. There is some oil smell occasionally, but I think it has to do with residual oil coming off of the engine still. So I did that, and I also changed the oil, and I changed the air filter, and I also got a new air filter housing here because the old one had a broken peg, but I don't think I really needed to get a new air filter housing door. So I was hoping that this new one would latch in here better, but it's just such a loose fit. This wire here is really what holds down the air filter. Didn't bother trying to put the decal on here. I didn't think it would look that well. So other than those things, I think the only other work I really did to it was I greased the front spindles, and oh yeah, the deck wasn't quite level. And I took apart the deck hangers and freed them up, which was actually kind of a pain, but we got that taken care of, and I think the deck is more level than it was. Still don't know if it's perfectly level, but it looks pretty close to me. And they'll be a lot easier to adjust now if necessary because they're not frozen. But yeah, those little guys were frozen on there and really hard to turn. So we got that taken care of. And there's some other things I thought about doing but did not do. One was trying to fix the seat. I thought about trying to put something on here because I've seen that people do that sometimes. Try to fix those slits. The seat's not that bad looking, but I'm not quite there yet for trying to fix the seats up. I didn't have the stuff yet, and I kind of wanted to just get this mower out, and if the next owner cares to, he can fix that. And if someone doesn't want that, they don't have to buy the mower. So, you know, it's ultimately their choice. I thought about replacing the battery, but I think it charged up and I think it's fine. It's been working fine today. One tire, I think, has a slow leak, or has a leak, I think. Anyway, I will tell the prospective buyer about that because I want them to be happy. So let's talk dollars here. This mower was free. I only bought the air filter and the air filter cover and some gasket sealant for the back valve cover. Other than that, I haven't bought anything for this. I put a little grease in it, but that doesn't really count. And what do I have it listed for? I listed it for $1,600. I was hoping to get $1,300, but we'll see. We might get more. It's been listed for 1 week. I listed it a week ago today. And this buyer sounds like he's willing to pay full price for it. So we may sell it for $1,600. When I tell him about the tire, we may go down to $1,500, something like that. So this is a really great flip if it sells today. Probably a clear $1,400 profit margin. And this mower was relatively close, so it wasn't that hard to pick up in the first place. So this is quite possibly our best flip of all so far, just because I didn't have to do that much work to it. I didn't have to swap out engines, so I didn't take an engine that had value and put it in here, which, even though it's free, it's something I could have sold. In this case, it's all pretty much here. I reused the belt. It was just the belt was routed wrong. That went pretty well. No, he was happy with it. I think he paid full price. I told him about the tire and he wasn't concerned. I told him if he has any issues to let me know, because I want him to be a happy customer. We sold that for $1,600, which was a fantastic profit. And he was a really nice guy, and he had good communication as far as like when he's going to show up and all that stuff. And I think this closes out our free Husqvarna RZ4623 Zero turn. series. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this video or like watching this type of content, and you can be sure to go back and check out the first video in the series for this mower, and we'll catch you guys next time.